Hi folks, welcome back to the shop again. We're going to carry on where we left off last week, working on that Norton Manx artwork project. Okay, as I mentioned in the intro there, welcome back. Still working on this project. As you can see, the painting now has a seat on it. I will show you the process of that after I'm finished talking here for a few seconds more here. Then I'm going to carry on with this. I'll go down and do the wheel, that sort of thing. The finishing part of the bike itself will be when I do the chrome exhaust system. Chrome is kind of fun to paint because it's all reflections. Black is similar because what you see with black absorbs color, right? So that's the absence of color, but what you see when you look at black objects are reflections. They're just dark reflections until you get to like a little blast of light like these spots here that beam back at you. But anyway, I was thinking about two ways I can go with this. The original plan was to do a Norton logo up here with the unapproachable Norton on it or whatever, and then have BSA and Triumph and Royal Enfield, Honda, Yamaha, that sort of thing all over the door. But then I thought, well, there's another thing I could do is turn this into an entire painting and have it that the floor carries on out into the distance, and then have an opening where the door would be in the painting, really. And have a scene behind that. That might involve a nice fall scene with a blue sky, and it is fall, it's October 5th here right now, so something like that is bouncing around in my head. The issue is, what do I do if I do that? What do I do about these openings for the window? And I'm trying to figure out if I should just ignore them and say, okay, there's windows in the painting, whatever. Or do I try to incorporate them as part of the painting? When I was thinking I could make a house in a barn and use the windows as part of the house and barn, because in the evening it's dark out, of course, and the windows turn black, right? So that might be a little bit easier to incorporate that way. But anyway, I'm playing with it. I'll show you later on in this video. I'll show you a couple of sketches that I've done up of it. And if you could get back to me in the comments and tell me which one you like best, and give me some idea what's the best idea, which way I should go with this whole artwork project anyway. So in the meantime, I got to finish the bike first, so I'll get on with that. I do want to this week change out the fender on the Yamaha, the back fender, because I got the replacement tail light and the new old stock seat on the bike. They look good, but the old fender that was on it is from a, what did they call them? A special series, where they had a slightly shorter fender with a big bob. And the new fender that I've got, the new old stock fender is a replacement for it. And it looks like it's about 3 inches longer, so it will actually cover more tire, stick out a little bit further on the end of the bike. But I'm going to put that in a separate video from this one here, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are interested in this. I'm not getting a lot of views on it, so I will do this as a separate series of videos, and I'll do the engine work and the motorcycle repair work as another series of videos. So that way people can watch what they want to watch and not watch what they don't want to watch. So anyway, getting back to this, I'll show you the sped up version where I did the seat so you can see that, and then we'll get on with the rest of it. I'd say from this angle that that's a pretty convincing back tire. Okay, let's try the rim now. Geez, that back tire only took me 1 minute and 11 seconds to do. All right, let's have a go at the rim, see if we can do that. And that looks like a reasonably decent back rim. I may touch up a few spots after a bit, but that is how you shrink up 35 minutes into 52 seconds. So what we do now, I think we'll go to work on the hub next. Okay, let's do this in slow time for a minute or so. I won't make you sit there and drag it out. But, anyway, it's a good thing we don't live in hyperlapse time because our lives would be very, very short. But it's good for showing the process of how something is done in fast time. But right here, this part of the door, I think I spilled some acetone on here once, and it made quite a mess, and I forget what I backed into the door here that made that mess, but you kind of got to work with uneven surfaces. The idea is when you're standing straight back from the picture, it looks right. Of course, from the angle you're sitting at right now, that's going to look a bit odd. But where I use the projector on here, straight on, I should be able to get something that's reasonably close, even in this caved in section of the door. A little more water in here just to thin it out a bit. You don't want it too thin because it will run and make a mess of stuff. Yeah. Just get this in here and fill this in. Here on the flat part, it goes pretty quick, right? But, once you get around the edge, you can just jam the paintbrush in and kind of scrub it into that area there where it's kind of caved in and stuff. All right, give me a little more water there. All right, well, I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I'll just bring this up to the end of the swing arm. And then we'll go into hyperdrive. Like I said before, we'll turn a half hour's work into about 55 seconds. Okay, I don't usually use underpainting when I'm working on artwork projects, but I think in this case, where I want to paint this number plate red, the red I'm using is a kind of a transparent sort of red, so I think it would be better to do a bit of underpainting on that license plate before I go ahead and put the color on it. So I'm gonna do my my swing arm tonight, put that other frame rail down through here. I'm not gonna do a lot tonight, but I wanna get that underpainting on there so that tomorrow when I come back, the paint will be nice and dry and I can put the red over it and I'll get a nice coating. So let's put this thing on hyperlapse or hyperdrive or whatever they call it, and because you don't want to watch me paint this in slow time. Red left. Let's see if I've got enough to do that license plate anyway. If not, I'll have to go back into town and get some paint. But I gotta go anyway, and the weird part is I was in there this afternoon getting a blood test. I could have got the darn paint while I was there, or I was right in there. Anyway, I put this on hyperspeed or hyperlapse or whatever it's called, and we'll see if I got enough red paint to do that plate. And we'll see if the underpainting helped or not. Well, the underpainting certainly seems to have worked on that number plate. I think I called it a license plate before. It's not a license plate, sorry. I know, it's a number plate. But, anyway, it instead of just being a flat panel, I thought I'd try to make it look like the edges were sort of rolled, and it definitely helped with that effect a lot, because of the translucence of the red paint. And yeah, so that worked pretty good, and I had enough paint to do it, so running to the art store for supplies can wait for a little while. And oh, by the way, I've worn out 2 small paintbrushes so far doing this. I've never worn a paintbrush out before in my life. Usually they just stiffen up or get old and bristly and I throw them away, but these ones were worn right down to the pearls, so yeah, interesting. Anyway, so next thing to do, I think, will be the shocks, and then I can move on to the exhaust system. Well, I meant to tape the process of painting those shocks in, but I guess I forgot to turn the camera on, because when I looked at it, it was just turned off. So anyway, I can't go back in time and redo that, but there they are. They got the chrome sleeve on the top and the black springs and that. So I think they came out pretty good. Can't complain about that. Last thing coming up, and that's the exhaust system. So I may start that later on tonight, or I might just wait till tomorrow to do that. But anyway, it's really coming along. I'm on the last legs, at least with the motorcycle part of it anyway. is, folks. I got the Norton Manx racer all painted up there. This is the only Norton Manx racer that I will ever be able to afford. So now I can say I have a Norton Manx, but it's two-dimensional instead of three-dimensional. So this came out pretty well. I'm quite happy with it. So the question is now, where do I go from here? Let's have a look over here in the paint box. I have a few little sketches I wanted to show you. This was the way I was originally intending on going, to have the bike at the, like this would be the door here, right, with two windows in the door. I was going to paint the bike on the bottom of the door like I've done. Then I was going to put the different logos of all the different bikes I've owned over the years and that sort of thing. So that's plan A. Plan B was a little more technical. Plan B was to make a whole scene on the door. Now the scene wouldn't look exactly like this at all. I've already made some changes on some of the sketches I've been doing to it. But you get the general idea off of this one. Like the bike's in the foreground here. I would carry the garage floor on out into the painting and then have the walls and the door open out here onto a scene with a nice blue sky and maybe some fall leaves or something like that. One of my friends suggested I might want to paint a nice looking model behind the bike there with a big Hooters or something on her, but I live with a kind of a jealous woman, and I don't think she'd really like me to have that on my garage door. So it was a good idea, but it's kind of out. I wanted to incorporate the windows somehow into this artwork, so what I've come up with so far is, a house and a barn or something like that. I think I would have to paint the barn white though, and maybe use a Tudor style construction with the beam and that sort of thing. My oldest boy suggested that actually, and I think that might be the better way to go than having a red barn in the background, because it would go better with the windows in the door. Anyway, if anybody else has any other ideas of ways that I could incorporate those windows in the art project, just let me know. But more importantly, should I go with plan A or should I go with plan B? So you can let me know in the comments whether you'd like plan A or plan B. Plan A would probably take me into, the end of November, something like that. Plan B would probably take me into the new year, possibly even longer, and into the end of winter maybe before I got that done. But I have lots of time, and that would be something interesting to do over the winter. So let me know in the comments, A or B, which one I should go with. And one final thing I wanted to show you before I wrap this up. I wore out two of these little tiny paintbrushes on this project. Wore them right down to the ferrule almost. This is what they're supposed to look like. I had to go to the art store, so I bought a couple of new ones. But that's what they're supposed to look like when they're new. So yeah, I've actually worn out paintbrushes on this project. I've never done that before. So anyway, like I said, that wraps this up for now. I will carry on with it, but this week's work on this is done. I do want to get that Panther out next week and maybe start playing around with that. And I also want to get the old AJS out for a ride. Maybe if it's nice out tomorrow, I'll take it out and see if we can get some of the autumn leaves and that sort of thing. But for now, have yourselves a great weekend or a great week whenever you happen to be watching this, and be good to each other, and I'll be back next time.